2 of the Blue Dragon Classic as we get set for the Hutchinson Community College Blue Dragons to take on the NEO Golden Lady Norse. The Blue Dragons 2-0 on the young season. The Lady Norse now 1-4. Good evening from the Sports Arena. I am Darren Dunn, joined by Coach Knack, Dan Naccarato. As we get set for this one, what do you kind of see as you look at these two teams? The Blue Dragons, obviously the better record. The Golden Norse, though, at 1-4, have already tested a couple of teams in the Jayhawk Conference. Lost to Barton yesterday on this floor, 75-67, and only lost to Coffeyville last week by 1.
On a buzzer beater, no less, last week at Coffeyville. It's a team that will shoot a lot of three-point shots, and they will drive it to the basket. So there are very few mid-range jumper type shots taken by the Lady Norse. They'll fire up three-point shots, and they'll crash the boards hard, and they'll try to earn. Big reason they got beat yesterday by Barton is they only scored 7 points from the free throw line, and they got out rebounded pretty significantly yesterday. So this is a team that Hutchinson traditionally has defended very well.
The Blue Dragons 2-0, but a big test yesterday. Had to pull one out at the end against Western Nebraska to win that one 64-59, and really it took some antics from Abby Ogle late to win that game. The Blue Dragons 10, and we're down 6 in three-pointers in the fourth quarter, and lest we forget, she took a huge block charge call that went the Blue Dragons' way. That would have been a point where Western Nebraska would have taken the lead, and instead the Blue Dragons got the ball and maintained a one-point advantage.
You're absolutely right. Abby Ogle came up huge yesterday. It was looking kind of dicey there after the third quarter for the Blue Dragons, but then once Abby Ogle started taking charge, good things happened. And let's not forget about Michaela Van Ed either. She chipped in quite a few points yesterday in that important contest, and she scored 17. Ogle ended the game with 15.
Blue Dragons only shot 38.5% from the floor, missed 10 free throws. We're getting set for the national anthem and the starting lineups. We're going to get those, and we'll be back here in the Sports Arena in about 2 minutes. The national anthem has been played, and we're about set for basketball action as we get the starting lineups for both teams. We'll run them down for you for the NEO Golden Norse. 1-4 on the season. The 5'7" sophomore guard from Sapulpa, Oklahoma, number 11, Kiara Brooks. 5'7" freshman out of Midwest City, Oklahoma, number 13, Korea Kirksey. A 5'5" freshman from Bixby, Oklahoma, at guard, number 23, Darian Miles. At forward, a 6'2" sophomore from Columbia, Ivana Murillo. She wears number 30. And then at forward, a 6'2" sophomore from the Czech Republic, number 44, Aliska Stepatakova. For the Blue Dragons, they'll stick with what worked yesterday. 5'8" sophomore out of Baldwin City, Kansas, Abby Ogle, averaging 18 points on the year. 6'3" sophomore from Queensland, Australia, Brooklyn Betham. Then, of course, Lauren Mapasua, one of the returners this year for this Blue Dragon squad. The 5'9". Get ready to light things up here, and by light things up, I mean turn the lights out and light it up with the video board. So Lauren Mapasua, the 5'9" sophomore out of Queensland, Australia, she gets the nod, averaging 7.5 points. She had 6 points and 7. One difference for Lauren, of course, she wore number 3 last year. She changes that number this year to wear number 11. Wearing the same number as last season is Michaela Vanette. Wearing number 23, she's looking to have a big outing. She made 3 3-pointers yesterday, but overall went 3 for 13 from the floor. She was 0 for 5 inside the arc. And then finally, the 5'8" freshman out of Derby, Kansas, number 24, Tori Alford. She started at point guard yesterday, averaging just 1.5 points per game, but averaging 3 rebounds. Got into a little bit of foul trouble early, did Alford, so she didn't see probably as much action.
Alford just never got on track yesterday because of those foul trouble. Because of that foul trouble, she could never get in the rhythm of the game, and I expect to see her make a much bigger impact on today's game than she did yesterday. Also noticed that she wasn't wearing spectacles yesterday for the first time. We've watched her play for years in high school at Derby, and she always wore glasses. So that's something new for Tori this year.
Yeah, she's going to go without them again. Now, she wears them in practice. I know at least early in the season she was still wearing them to practice for the Blue Dragons. Now, here's another interesting thing about this John Onch's coach team now in his 13th season. They have assisted this year on 55% of made field goals. Now, that sounds last year where this team was almost 65% assisting on field goals, and the reason that's so big is because you look across the court and the Lady Norse are assisting on 60% of their field goals.
They do like to play team basketball. It's one of the things that most of us fans particularly enjoy about the women's game. Since they play below the rim, they move the ball, all 5 players get involved almost every offensive set.
Blue Dragons averaging 64.5 points per game. The Lady Norse averaging 71.6. Blue Dragons shooting about 4% better from the floor. You look on the 3-point line, though, and the Lady Norse are shooting a little bit better from there by about 3%. Blue Dragons have a rebound advantage coming into this one by 2. The Lady Norse have 2 more assists per game, and John Onches can't be happy about the 20.5 turnovers per game, but it's early in the season.
Very early with quite a few freshmen on the team.
Brooklyn Betham gets set to tip off against Ivana Murillo, and Betham wins the tip. Abby Ogle will possess it and bring the ball up the floor quickly, and now we'll set up the offense. The Blue Dragons in gray, blue numerals. NEO wearing the blue uniforms with the yellow numerals. Brooklyn Betham puts the ball to the floor, spins around, tried to get one over Stepatakova. Couldn't get it, knocked away. Here comes NEO. Miles gives the ball to the right wing over to Kirksey. Kirksey up high. And now down low. Ball goes to Stepatakova, and she has the first 2 points of this contest. Blue Dragons, just more than 30 seconds gone by, already in a 2-0 hole. Abby Ogle, shot fake up top, drives down low against Murillo. Now brings the ball back out high. Lauren Mapasua nearly lost the handle, and then she was fouled. And Darian Miles will get caught with the first foul of the game.
Sort of a hard luck foul on Miles, as both she and Mapasua were reaching for the ball as it started to come loose.
So the shot clock goes to 20, and the Blue Dragons will inbound from the far sideline. Near sideline as you're watching on BlueDragonSports.com. Thank you for joining us there. Step back 3 for Michaela Vanette, no good. And the rebound goes to NEO. Side of the hoop. Brings it back up top to Stepatakova. Looking on the inside for Kirksey, and the ball's out of bounds on the baseline. Officials get together and say that NEO maintains possession with 19 to shoot.
Northeastern Oklahoma took a page out of the Hutchinson playbook, attempting the backdoor cut.
Miles to inbound, kicks it to Brooks. Brooks wants a quick three, drew nothing, but offensive rebound to Murillo. Keeps it alive, back in. Abby Ogle. Ogle on the run the other way, in between two defenders, kicks it out to Alford for three from the corner, yes! A big three-point basket for Tori Alford.
We expected Alford to make more of a contribution in today's game than she did last night, and she has already started off hot.
Just her second three-pointer of the season. Before that one was only shooting 17% from distance.
In high school, she was more of a distributor than a scorer.
13 to shoot here for NEO. Goes into the corner for Miles. The shot up no good, rebounded by Brooklyn Betham. Betham, the 6'3" sophomore out of Queensland, Australia. Another Australian to the basket goes Lauren Mapasua. Couldn't get it to go. Too high and strong off. Lauren Mapasua in the man-to-man defense, guarding Kirksey as NEO works it around the horn. Left side to Brooks, who decides to drive. Help defense in the kick. Stebatakova from 15, and she knocks it down for her second basket of the game. NEO leads at 4-3 with 2.5 gone by.
That basket made possible by the drive to the bucket and the dish.
Couple of early lead changes already here in this one as NEO is on top of the Blue Dragons 4-3. 7:20 left in this first quarter of action. Now driving hard with contact, Lauren Mapasua. First attempt, no good. Gets her own rebound. That shot back up, no good. And another offensive rebound to Brooklyn Betham. And she's fouled on the way back up by Stebatakova, her first, team second.
Brooklyn Betham contributed 13 points last night, and she was a force on the boards as well.
Had 8 rebounds yesterday, 5 for 6 from the floor. So a strong shooting performance from Brooklyn Betham. First free throw is up and no good, as Betham will try to tie it with her second opportunity. Darren Dunn, Dan Nacaretto with you here from the Sports Arena. Day 2 of the Blue Dragon Classic. Betham hits on the second free throw, and we're deadlocked at 4 with 7:13 left in the first quarter. Miles runs the point, guarded by Alford. Gives off to Brooks. Brooks wants the three. She didn't call it, but she banked it in.
The bank is open.
Cash in your checks for Brooks, who now has 10 three-pointers on the season. 7-4 the score. Sasha Francis in there now for the Blue Dragons. Trail it by 3. Mentioned John Otches in his 13th season. You look across for the Golden Norse. He's the all-time winningest coach for this NEO franchise. Alford over to Van Nant on the left wing. She'll pull up for the three. Over the top of the defender, no good. Stebatakova pulls it down. Quickly ahead for Brooks. Another three. Hard spot to bank it from. It went off the glass first and no good, but another offensive rebound for NEO. Long three from Miles, no good, and the offensive rebound attempt will go wanting as Stebatakova will get caught with the push from behind. Her second foul, third on NEO.
Did we mention that the Lady Norse will like to throw up a lot of three-point shots?
And they're getting extra opportunities with early offensive rebounds. Couple of substitutions made. Kyra Paniora comes in for the Blue Dragons. And for the Golden Norse, enters Kane Diop out of Senegal.
John Otches moved up to in a tie for 4th in the all-time conference wins list with Toby Wynn, who used to be at Seward. John Otches with 349 wins in the conference.
Van at the stutter step. Gets it from 15, does a step back and air ball, and she's kind of showing us what she tough time even drawing rim. Drive by Kirksey. Shot up no good. Van Nant pulls down the rebound. Here comes the Blue Dragons. Van Nant looked right side, but now goes inside to Betham. Betham, the shot up and over the rim, no good. Rebounded by NEO. It's Miles, the point guard, who will quickly try to get ahead of the Blue Dragons. Betham just does get back on defense to play 5-on-5 basketball. Right side to Brooks. Inside, looking on that right block for Diop. And it's a turnover on NEO.
First turnover committed in this game. 5:40 remains in the first quarter.
NEO leads it by 3. We were tied at 4 2 minutes ago. Abby Ogle up top for the Blue Dragons. In between the circles, goes left side to Sasha Francis. Now up top to Van Etten, she traveled with it, so back-to-back turnovers. The first one now on Hutchinson. Blue Dragons will send in the birthday girl. It's Presley Barton celebrating her birthday today. She had a 1 trillion yesterday. So we'll celebrate the birthday, but not the 1 trillion. And you're familiar with the 1 trillion.
I can't wait to hear the explanation.
She played 1 minute of basketball and had no statistics at all. That includes fouls. On the inside, NEO got a good look from Brooks back door, no good. So it looks like a 1 trillion when you look at it with the 12 zeros.
I had never heard that
go with the 1. She's going to try to change that here with the 3. No good for Barton. Rebounded on the far side by Francis. She looks inside to Abby Ogle, and on the left block, Abby Ogle scores it for 2.
The Blue Dragons started the game off just 1 for 10 from the field, so they desperately needed an easy look and a basket.
So every minute you get, it would then go up. So if she would have played 2 minutes, it would have been a 2 trillion, 3 trillion, and so on. Shot up by Kirksey, no good. Blue Dragons want to force the issue. Abby Ogle finds a cutting Sasha Francis, and the Blue Dragons take back the lead. It's 8-7. Blue Dragons on top. 4:37 left in the first quarter. We're back after this 30-second timeout from NEO. Back-to-back baskets have the Blue Dragons back on top by a point with 4:37 left here in the first quarter of play on top of the NEO Lady Norse.
Northeastern Oklahoma out of Miami, or do you say Miami?
Is it Oklahoma?
It's Oklahoma.
And they want you to say Miami. Spin on the inside for NEO. Goes Murillo. No good. Got her own rebound on the way back up. Walked with it. Second turnover on Northeastern Oklahoma.
Darren, I like to have a little tidbit about every opponent's hometown. Miami, Oklahoma, famous for Heisman Trophy winner Steve Owens, who played at OU and then the Detroit Lions. Heisman Trophy winner in 1969. Grew up in Miami, Oklahoma.
Boniora runs the point. Goes right side to Barton. And now the Blue Dragons will work it left wing to Abby Ogle. Zone look put on by NEO. Dragons go on the inside to Betham. She lost it on the gather, but is able to regather it, turn around, and put it up for 2.
After going 1 for 10 from the field, now the Blue Dragons have made their last 3 consecutive shots.
Dragons up by 3, just under 4 to go, and another travel on Murillo. This time outside the three-point arc, she was just pivoting and didn't keep that pivot foot.
That relentless Blue Dragon defense forces many opponents into unforced errors.
Boniora now working against a man-to-man defense put on by NEO. She gets the ball on the inside after a quick dish to the right wing, and she's fouled on the right block. Looks like they'll get Kirksey for her first foul.
I know it sounds kind of crazy to say by that. The pace of the game is so relentless and so intense that sometimes an opponent will commit a turnover when there's really no pressure applied to them.
Kaylee Stevenson, 5'8" freshman out of Oklahoma City, comes in for Northeastern Oklahoma. Quick inbound to Abby Ogle on the right wing. Blue Dragons will work it around the horn and now work back to that right side. Into the hands of Abby Ogle with 12 to shoot. Francis, hand off to Boniora. She wants to go in between the legs and will get another quick foul on Kirksey. Kirksey got 2 hands on her and will pick up her second foul. That's now 5 on NEO. It's bonus time for the Blue Dragons. A new rule this year for women's basketball. Instead of subbing with 1 shot to go in the free throw, your subs have to be there before the first free throw, and they'll let you come in. So Shavada will come in for NEO. And one of our favorite names has to be for the season for the Blue Dragons comes in Nafatumata Idra, the 6'5" freshman out of Mali, Africa for the Blue Dragons. Paniora, first free throw is up and good. Her first point of the game, averages just 2, and had both of her points from the free throw line yesterday. That's where she has 2 to start off today.
She's 4 for 4 on the season, I believe.
Blue Dragons now up by 5, putting on a little bit of a run against NEO, who had a 7-4 lead just a few minutes ago. NEO, good job getting to the basket, but Murillo cannot finish. And here goes Abby Ogle. She wants to go coast to coast. Dropped it off at the last minute for Francis and turned it over. 2 turnovers now for the Blue Dragons. Ogle tried to snag it back. Couldn't quite do it before she lost it on the baseline.
And now the Lady Norse have missed 7 of their last field goal attempts.
Yeah, NEO on about a 4-minute drought here in the sports arena. Bear hug called on Paniora. Her first, and the first on the Blue Dragons. So played foul-free basketball for 7 minutes. Miles to inbound from the right block for NEO. Goes up high. On the run against Murillo. Left-handed layup is up and good. Abby Ogle has 4, and the Dragons have a 7-point lead with just under 3 to play in the first quarter. Murillo, a couple of turnovers on back-to-back travels. Gives the ball off. NEO works the other side of the lane. Inside shot up, blocked away by the Blue Dragons. Diop tried to get it to go, could not, working against Idra. And it looks like Idra will pick up her first.
She blocked the first shot cleanly and then got called for the foul. Secured the rebound.
Just her second block of the season, using that 6'5" frame. Miles on the inside, turn around for Diop, she walked with it. Got it in the lane against Idra. When she went to pick it up, lost that pivot foot. 5 turnovers now on NEO. Dragons looking to build on this 14-7 advantage. 5-minute drought now for Northeastern Oklahoma. Idra holds it high, goes the spin move on the inside. Left hand underneath Diop and couldn't get it to go. Diop pulls it down, and here comes the Lady Norse. Right corner for Shavada, 3, no good. And the ball battled for it and comes back up in the hands of NEO. Offensive rebounds this season. Shot clock goes back to 20 instead of the traditional 30 or the shot clock reset. Pump fake. Drive to the basket by Stevenson. Too strong off the backboard. Abby Ogle has it. 1-on-3. Will she force it? She does. And gets bailed out on the foul call underneath. Northeastern Oklahoma foul goes against Murillo, her first. First trip to the line for Abby Ogle. The Dragons have struggled from the line so far this season, which is rare for a John Anches coach team. 61.4% from the free throw line, missed 10 free throws yesterday. Ogle takes a deep breath at the line. Good rotation on the high arc. Free throw's good. Abby Ogle has 5. Leading scorer in the game for the Blue Dragons. Leading scorer on the year, averaging 18. Also averages 5.5 rebounds. Second free throw off to the right and no good. And a foul on the rebound goes against Lauren Mapasua. Her first, 3 now on the Blue Dragons. As the officials work to even up that foul count, NEO raced out to have the first 4 fouls of the game. Miles directs traffic. Trying to clear out the right side. Pulls up 2 feet beyond the arc. Just missed it long, and Idra pulls down the on 4. Kicks it out to Alford. Alford to Idra. Idra, 1 dribble and up. Trying to go through Diop. And draws the foul on Northeastern Oklahoma. It goes against Diop, her first.
Yesterday, NEO committed 10 more fouls than Barton in the contest. 25 fouls committed yesterday by NEO.
Idra knocks down the first free throw attempt. A little bit of a laser action going on that one. This is her first trip to the line this season. Jalecia Cooper comes in for the Blue Dragons. She'll have to wait It's the substitution rule we talked about.
Didn't get there before the first one.
Second free throw, a little bit too strong for Idra, and silly foul. Well, I was going to say it was against Lauren Mapasua, but they're going to get it against NEO.
It might have just been a lane violation.
You're right, it was. Murillo got in there a little bit too quickly. I saw the fist go up, which is for a foul.
Exactly.
And instead, it should have been the sideways fist. Second free throw is the throw for Idra. That one's no good. And here comes NEO. Spin on the inside for Shivata. She kicks it back out to the left elbow. Shot no good by Diop. And a travel on Murillo, who gathered or tried to gather that offensive rebound. 6 turnovers now on NEO.
NEO now on an 0 for 11 from the field.
Translates into a 6-minute drought. Had a 3-point lead minutes ago. Barton still in the game, putting in some quality minutes for the Blue Dragons in this first quarter on her birthday. Goes over to Lauren Mapasua. 13 to shoot. Alford back up top to Barton. Barton started to drive and pulls it back out. Now the Dragons reset with 5 to shoot. Head nod for Cooper. Back to Alford for 3 and nailed it. The second three-pointer of the contest for Tori Alford.
Wasn't drawn up that way, but it certainly counts as a big bucket for the Blue Dragons.
Dragons used all of the shot clock before putting that shot up there for 3. Battle underneath on that right block between Idra and Diop. And Nafatu Mata will pick up her second foul.
Nafa is learning to play more physical at the college level. She's picked up a couple of fouls in this first quarter, but still, she's making progress and she's learning how to compete.
Idra comes out. Brooklyn Betham comes back in. 30 seconds to play. Dragons lead it by 12. NEO, the handoff up top to Stevenson, working against Mapasua. Man-to-man defense by the Blue Dragons. Ball now into the hands of Murillo, who spins on the inside against Cooper. Got the basket and the foul. So that will end the drought for NEO as Murillo gets it to go. That's the first foul against Jalecia Cooper.
That was a pretty impressive spin move by Murillo. I think I would have been dizzy had I tried that.
65% free throw shooter, too strong. And we have another lane violation.
This one goes against Hutchinson.
Cooper gets called, and each time it's been on the defending team at that bottom block. Just getting in a little bit too early. Have to wait for that release. This time they do. Second opportunity. No good for Murillo, and the shot clock is dark. 12 to play. The Blue Dragons can take the last shot of the first quarter, trying to build a 10-point lead. Mapasua starts to the left. Pick and roll from Betham, doesn't use it. 3 to shoot. Cooper has it outside, goes inside to Betham. Betham turns around, and the Dragons won't even get a shot off. That's how the first quarter ends. Blue Dragons lead it over NEO 19-9. We're back in the Sports Arena in 1 minute.
If we could, that'd be great. I think they forgot about us.
Welcome into the Sports Arena for the second day of the Blue Dragon Classic. Aaron Dunn alongside you on the Blue Dragon Sports Network with Coach Knack. It's Dan Nacarado. And Coach, before we look at some of the numbers from that first quarter of action, take us back through that last possession for the Blue Dragons. Why didn't they get a shot off?
Well, part of the issue was a pass was not fielded cleanly, and when she bobbled the pass, a couple extra seconds ran off the clock, and it just got them to a point where they couldn't get anything going.
NEO starts off the second quarter with the basketball. Murillo tried to go on the inside against Betham and couldn't get it to go. Alford, Betham, Mapasua, Cooper, and Barton, the birthday girl, in there right now for the Blue Dragons. NEO led this one early by 3 at 7-4. As Mapasua goes a little too high for Barton. Now, I'll tell you this, Presley Barton will probably be the shortest player on most collegiate floors to get it done at 5'3" out of KCK.
She was definitely a player that Hutchinson wanted to come to this college, and we're thrilled that she's here.
Third turnover now on the Blue Dragons. The NEO has 6.
Big problem with the NEO. Three-point shooting so far in this game.
NEO had that early three-point lead, then went into about a 6-minute drought as Shivata forced her way onto the inside, threw a little bit of a forearm shiver, and Gabriella Shivata picks up the first foul of the second quarter.
If my memory serves, Brooks made the very first three-point basket attempted by NEO, and then they missed the next 7.
Alford runs the point. Freshman out of Derby, Kansas. Right side to Lauren Mapasua. Abby Ogle getting some much-needed rest on the bench. She was definitely the star yesterday and will be looked to be the star for this season. Can Alford go 3 for 3 from three-point line? No. Shot up and no good. Pulled down by Murillo. NEO sets up the offense. There goes Stevenson. The kick over to Diop. 13-footer, no good. The rebound goes out of bounds. Speaking of Abby Ogle, here she comes. She'll check in for Jalecia Cooper. Boy, if not for 3 three-pointers from Abby Ogle in that fourth quarter and a huge charge that she takes late, Dragons in trouble against Western Nebraska yesterday.
She came up huge. There's no question about it. She also leads the team in intensity. She really picks up the level of practice every single day.
By the way, Barton lost today to Western Nebraska. That was earlier here in the arena, 68-59. 4 feet beyond the arc for Barton. Throws it up there, no good. Battle for the rebound, and Abby Ogle picks up the foul. Now here's the part we didn't talk about. When Abby Ogle took that block charge call, it went her way. She was in foul trouble.
Absolutely.
She was putting herself on the line.
In a close game like that, it would have definitely been a huge difference.
NEO works to the right side, kicks it back around the horn, now left side to Shivata. Shivata goes inside without using the elbow this time. 15-footer over Mapasua is no good. Dragons pull down the rebound. 2 minutes gone by here in this second quarter of action, and neither team has scored. Still a 10-point lead for the Blue Dragons. Working offensively. Barton cuts through the lane, doesn't get it. Mapasua puts on a pump fake and drives, but dishes out to Ogle. Dragons working on the outside. It's a corner three-pointer for Lauren Mapasua, and she knocks it down, her first points of the game. Mapasua, her 4th three-pointer of the season. She's done it on only 6 attempts. Shot up for NEO and no good. Mapasua pulls it down. Wide open on the inside. It was Betham, but she missed her. And fortunately, Barton able to track the ball down on the other side. And what looked like a sure turnover is tracked down by Barton on the baseline. She saves it, gets it back to Betham for the attempt. And Betham was knocked in the head by Diop, her second foul. Dragons now with a 22-9 advantage.
For NEO, Kirksey, Diop, and Stepatakova with 2 fouls apiece.
Betham at the line for the second time. Misses here on the front end. 1 to go. She's been about a 43% free throw shooter on the season. We're going to get a lane violation. But it's not going to matter because Betham put in the second free throw. 4 points now for Brooklyn Betham. And the Dragons have a 14-point lead. Murillo picks up her dribble, guarded by Ogle. Dragons in a man-to-man defense. Dragons in gray. NEO in blue. Oh, looked like a little bit of a walk on Shavada. She actually hopped on her pivot foot, no call. Was able to throw one up and in for NEO. Much needed basket for the Lady Norse. Sasha Francis goes right side now to Alford. Alford trying to direct traffic. Now she'll just drive. Gets it on the inside against Shavada. Off the backboard, no. Betham the offensive rebound. She can't get the putback. Brought the ball down a little bit too low where she was tied up by Shavada. It'll be Blue Dragon basketball on the baseline. Quick inbound to Ogle. Had the three if she wanted it. Decides to work a little bit more offense. A lot of teams like to get that quick three out of the inbound set. Ogle passed on the opportunity. Trying to work against Murillo, pulls it back out. Dragons have 2 to shoot. Barton has to throw up a crazy shot. Hit the defender Brooks in the eye. And she comes away with a few tears. She'll get the ball offensively, drives against Barton. Barton, good job of stopping her at the right elbow. And then the ball is lost out of bounds. Momentarily, they'll say it's NEO basketball.
I think they're going to get that worked out.
And they do. Went from one official's area to the other. And they got on the same page. That's a turnover now for Northeastern Oklahoma. 7. Dragons with a 23-11 advantage. Down by 3 early in this one. Now in control with 5:45 left before the half. Left wing, Ogle. Loose defense put on by Murillo. Barton getting significant minutes. Looking on the inside for Betham. And Betham was pushed on the backside by Diop, who now has 3.
Third team foul whistled against Northeastern Oklahoma.
Pontiora comes back in for the Blue Dragons. She'll inbound from the right block. Dragons spread out 4. Ogle backs up, tried to get it on the other block. Pontiora didn't want to go there, and Alford nearly has it knocked away. Alford guarded by Shavada. Abby Ogle wants a 3. Over the top of Murillo, no, and Diop pulls down the rebound. Gabriella Shavada will run the point, guarded by Alford. Point guard on point guard. Now switching the defense as Brooks drives past Alford, nearly threw it away. And it was last touched by the Blue Dragons on the baseline.
Both teams struggling to score in this second quarter.
Just 4 points for the Blue Dragons, 2 for NEO in almost 5 minutes of second quarter action. Shavada gets a screen from Diop. Diop now the roll, puts on a nice juke against Betham and gets to the other side of the basket. Her first of the contest. 10-point second quarter of action. But the bottom of the net, Ogle has 8.
NEO is almost daring Ogle to fire from three-point range, and that's a player that made 3 huge threes in the fourth quarter last night.
Yeah, that's a dangerous game. She's shooting. Right wing Shavada. She wants a step back answer 3. She got it. And she got it over the top of Abby Ogle.
That's hard to defend, those step back threes.
3 Blue Dragons have made 3-pointers. Now 2 NEO players have made 3-pointers. And it's 26-16. Blue Hutchinson will turn it over. 4th one on the Blue Dragons.
This season, there were some changes in the shot clock rules. Next year, the three-point line will change. It will move back a little further for the men. So next year here in the Sports Arena, I guess you'll see 3 different three-point lines, Darren.
Yeah, already seeing that It's been moved back in the NCAA. A lot of people think that's added a little bit more value to the game and making your distance shooters have to be a little bit better, a little bit more accurate. Shavada working against Alford. She'll take her 2 steps on the drive from the right wing and was knocked to the ground on the way up. Paniora picks up her second foul, second on the Blue Dragons in the second quarter of action. And Shavada will go to the charity stripe for the first time this evening.
The high schools here in Hutchinson have their own courts and gyms. However, the 3A state tournament is played here in the sports arena. Therefore, the need for the high school three-point line and college three-point line.
Shavada first free throw is good, 77% free throw shooter on the year. Second one left it short, but it somehow crawled its way up and over the lip of the rim.
Shooter's touch.
And it's an 8-point lead for the Blue Dragons with 4 minutes left before the break. Alford, Ogle, Betham, Barton, Mapasua in there for the Blue Dragons. It's Mapasua with the ball. Right wing looking on the inside for Betham, who's working around in the paint between the blocks. Ogle, the long three. She's got another one. Abby Ogle from about 4 feet beyond the arc. She has 11. She's the first player in double digits.
If they don't get out on Abby Ogle tight, she will make those shots.
Abby Ogle tried for the steal, didn't get it, but still forces the turnover. As Stevenson tried to pull the ball away from Ogle, she walked with it.
Number 9 by my count. Do you concur?
9 turnovers. Yeah. 29-18, the Blue Dragons on top with just over 3 to play before intermission. Ogle pump fakes the 3 this time against Binge, who's in there for NEO, and the Dragons turn it over for the 5th time. Barillo driving between 2 Blue Dragon players, nearly lost it. Now there's a battle for it in front of the Blue Dragon bench, and we'll have our second jump ball of the quarter.
It was almost like a football fumble, everybody diving in there to try to recover it.
Ball will go to NEO.
Speaking of football, congratulations to the Blue Dragon football team. Big 56-0 win at Iowa Central.
9-2 now on the year. Number 6 takes down number 19 in a big way, and that's a huge answer. You know, last year Iowa Central came here and won 54-16. So the Blue Dragons no letdown this time after that loss to Garden City win today, 56-0. Shavada goes left side, shot up no good, but offensive rebound to NEO. It's Caitlin Binge, the 6-foot sophomore out of Veneta, Oklahoma. Alford knocks the ball out of bounds on the baseline, and with 16 to shoot, NEO will inbound from the right block. Brooks looking for someone, finds Binge on the other side of the lane. Now Binge will hand off to Shavada. Shavada gets herself down close to the left block, off the backboard, and just rolled off on her. Abby Ogle pulls down the rebound. She wants to drive in between 2 Lady Norse and got one to reach. Foul goes against Murillo, her second, and the 4th now on NEO. Just under 2.5 to play in the second quarter. Blue Dragons up 11, down by 3 early in this one, and able to go on a run whilst putting NEO into drought mode. Barton, long 3, no good, off the right side of the rim, pulled in by Betham. Betham grabbed by a Lady Norse, and that is another one on Murillo, who now has 3.
5th team foul committed by NEO, so Betham will get to go to the free throw line to shoot 2.
A couple of bigs in trouble right now for NEO, Murillo and Diop, each with 3. And they're both 6'2", so they'll have to send in another big, the 6'1" Alexis Johnson, the freshman out of Veneta, Oklahoma. Bonus time for Betham, 2 for 4 from the line so far. First free throw rattles out, so the consistency at this point has been she misses the first one and knocks down the second one. We'll see if she can get through the broadcaster's curse.
Maybe she could get the officials to let her take a practice shot before the actual one that counts.
And the second one is no good, so Johnson pulls it down. There have been plenty of second opportunities for these free throw shooters with many lane violations.
I was going to say, we needed another lane violation there to give her another chance.
It's always been that player on the low block, and not the case this time for Betham. 2 minutes before the break. The three-pointer from the top of the key for Stevenson, no good. Pulled down by the Blue Dragons. Trying to build on this 11-point lead. A little stutter step from Mapasua. Gives it off to Ogle. Ogle tried to force it inside to Betham. Knocked away, but the Blue Dragons pull it back down. 17 to shoot as the Blue Dragons by Betham. Barton started to use it, now kicks it to Mapasua, who goes inside, lowers her shoulder, knocks down an NEO Lady Norse. Couple of bodies on the floor, everyone gets up, no whistle. Barton had an open opportunity, couldn't get it to drop, and here comes NEO. 1:23 left before halftime, Dragons up 11. Binge, hands off to Stevenson. Stevenson the kick outside to Brooks, who looked like she hopped after gathering it. Three-pointer no good, rebounded by Betham. Blue Dragons 2-on-2 opportunity if they want it. Ogle starts to play a little post, kicks it out to Barton, and now the Dragons with a minute left in the second quarter will set up the offense again. Back, doesn't get the shot to go. Tried to get her own rebound, but fouled in the process.
Her second.
2 on Mapasua, 3 on the Blue Dragons. And we will see Emily McAdams for the first time for NEO, the 5'5" sophomore out of Berry Hill, Oklahoma. NEO trying to cut this lead back to single digits. Shavada runs the point. Over to McAdams, guarded by Francis. Abby Ogle knocks it away and now pulls it down. 10 turnovers for NEO. The dish to Sasha Francis. What a beauty of a pass from Ogle to Sasha Francis on the cut. 13-point lead for the Blue Dragons. Half of action. Shavada gets the ball back, drives into the lane, and was fouled on the turnaround. She got the shot to go. Abby Ogle will pick up the foul, her second. And what a move by Shavada, and maybe an even better finish.
Oh, it was a determination basket. Even though she was being knocked off balance, she continued to focus on the rim and finish the shot.
Gabriella Shavada, 5'5" freshman out of Columbia. And one opportunity at the line.
And that's not Columbia, Missouri.
No. Free throw is good, so she gets 3 the old-fashioned way. She has 10. She's the second scorer here tonight to get into double digits. Shot clock to get the final shot of the half. Up by 10. We'll get a foul away from the ball, and it's going to go against the Blue Dragons. I believe it's Jalecia Cooper who ends up on the ground with the illegal screen. Cooper, her second. 5th one on the Blue Dragons.
6th turnover. 6 turnovers is pretty clean basketball and a half.
Especially for a team averaging almost 21. Shavada can take the last shot if she wants it. She will from 12. Will it roll in? No. Left it short. So at half, it is the Blue Dragons ahead of NEO, 31-21. We'll crunch the numbers and be back with you in the Sports Arena in 2 minutes. Welcome back into the Sports Arena on the Blue Dragons Sports Network. At halftime, it's the Blue Dragons on top of the Lady Norse of NEO, 31-21. I am Darren Dunn, joined by Coach Knack, Dan Nacarado. Coach, what do the halftime numbers look like?
It was a cold half of shooting by NEO. They ended the half just 8 of 32, 25% from the field, and perhaps more importantly, just 2 of 12 from three-point range. That's less than 17% from beyond the arc. Hutchinson, on the other hand, 10 of 29 from the field and 5 of 12 from three-point range. So from three-point range, the Blue Dragons 42% compared to 17% by NEO. Leading the scoring for NEO on the strength of 10 points all in the second quarter, Gabriela Chavada. For the Blue Dragons, leading the way, as one might expect, Abby Ogle with 11 points, including 2 for 3 from beyond the arc. Other players who scored in that first half of basketball for NEO, Brooks with 3, Murillo with 2, Diop with 2, Stebedevkova with 4, and again 10 points by Shavada leading the way. 21 points for NEO, 31 points for the Blue Dragons, 11 by Ogle, 2 by Pawning, 3 by Mapasua, 4 by Francis, who came off the bench. Idra with 1 point and 6 points from Michaela Vanette. Like to see, 6 points from Tori Alford. Like to see Michaela Vanette get in the scoring column. She did not score in that first half. She's just
3 for 13 yesterday. Her problem's not beyond the arc. It's been inside of it. She was 0 for 5 from the floor inside the arc yesterday, but was 3 for 8 from distance. So there she is, sitting at 98 career three-pointers, knocking on the door of 100, and it just hasn't had an opportunity. Well, she's had the opportunity, just hasn't taken advantage of the opportunity to finally get herself there. What do you think the problem there is for someone who's a shooter like Michaela Vanette? Do you just get so comfortable from beyond the arc that sometimes you're too close?
Well, it's a mental thing more than anything else usually, because these players take so many shots in practice and on their own, and she in particular is a player who will come in the gym and shoot on her own, so they'll get into a muscle memory. So normally it's a mental thing when they're having trouble making the shots from inside the arc, which has been the case for Michaela, as you pointed out. But I have a prediction: within the next few games, where she makes 5 field goals in a row.
It's a little bit different than most shooters' slumps, right? Because a lot of shooters, they get into a little bit of a cold streak, and it's shots that are really close, that just kind of close, but they're not enough to put through. Close but no cigar, as they say. For her, though, the last 2 nights, we've seen air balls from 15 and from 5. She's not even drawing, but she's drawing nothing.
Yeah, it's one of those strange reason to believe that she'll get worked out. And again, when that's happening, sometimes it helps to get a layup or 2. Sometimes it helps to go to the free throw line, because her free throw shooting has been accurate all season again this year. Had a really up what it is for this season.
Well, just yesterday, yeah, she was 8 for 10. In fact, she got all of her free throw attempts on the season yesterday. So, you're right. You get yourself to the line or get yourself some easy ones underneath, and suddenly you start backing away and everything starts to drop because the basket looks a little bit bigger. The Blue Dragons at halftime ahead of NEO 31-21. We're back in the Sports Arena on the Blue Dragon Sports Network in 2 minutes. You're watching Blue Dragon basketball on the Blue Dragon Sports Network. Dragon, this 2-0 team on top of the Lady Norse of NEO, who is 1-4 on the season. Coach John Otch is in his 13th year, taking on Jim Rowland in his 15th season. So a couple of programs with long-standing coaches. And Jim Rowland, by the way, the all-time winningest coach for NEO in that program's history. Now, here's where the letdown was yesterday. The Blue Dragons have already been tested on this young season. It happened yesterday right here on this floor against Western Nebraska. The Blue Dragons had to get back-to-back trays from Abby Ogle with about 3.5 minutes left yesterday to get on top and stay on top, and then get a late foul call on a charge that Abby Ogle took to win that game 64-59. Now, it was the third quarter that really was almost the undoing for the Blue Dragons. Lost the third quarter 21-10, and we're down 6 for much of the fourth quarter. How do the Blue Dragons ensure there's no third quarter letdown tonight?
Well, I guarantee you that coaching staff and all of those players want to finish off a game and play 40 full minutes. Sometimes your opponent has a little bit to do with that. They're practicing too, and they're college athletes on that other team, and every now and then that opponent just goes on a run, and no matter what you do, you find that they get an advantage for a few minutes. But it's certainly something that these coaches are so intense, and they scout their opponent so well. These players use practice time so efficiently. There's no downtime. If you ever come to watch a Blue Dragon basketball practice, Coach Onches, Coach Kirk, Coach Anderson, they have such a plan put together, Coach Patrick as well. They have a plan put together to utilize every single minute of practice time. There is absolutely no wasted time, no wasted effort, and they are one situation to the next. So it's just one of those things that sometimes your opponent gets done what they want to get done.
NEO has already proven effective, keeping games close with other members of Region 6. Lost yesterday to Barton 75-67. Pushed Coffeyville, as we talked about earlier, to the buzzer. Lost that one 61-60. 1-4 on the season. That's a little bit deceiving for the Region 2 runner-up last year, a team that was 22-9 last season. Let's think about that first half. Tell us some things that you saw NEO do that they need to change in the second half to be effective against the Blue Dragons.
Well, offensively, the NEO style is to throw up a lot of three-point shots, and that's what they did in the first half. They attempted 12 of them. The problem was they only hit 2, and some of them were pretty good looks. They just didn't go in. So sometimes when you talk about making adjustments, if NEO makes 5 out of 12, the way Hutchinson shot 5 out of 12 from beyond the arc in that first half, right now this is a 2-point game, or excuse me, a 1-point game, and we're saying, gee, what adjustments does Hutchinson need to make in the second half? But I think for NEO, offensively, they have to stick with their identity. I do think they need to drive it to the basket more. They're not going to the free throw line near enough in this game. They only shot 4 free throws the entire first half. So if I'm coaching NEO, the biggest adjustment I make at halftime is we're going to attack the basket and see if we can get rewarded by going to the free throw line.
A lot of offensive rebounds for NEO, but really not a lot of second chance points in that first half.
Exactly. And again, that's an indication that they're not attacking the basket. That's the reason they only went to the free throw line to shoot 4 free throws. They're not attacking the basket enough.
NEO led by Gabriella Shavada. Schnack mentioned all 10 of those came in that second quarter of play. She's a perfect 3 for 3 from the free throw line. Meanwhile, on the other side, Abby Ogle leading the way for the Blue Dragons with 11 points. She averages 18 on the year, so well on her way to her season's average. Second half of action just a couple of minutes away. We're back in the sports arena. 2 minutes. You are watching Blue Dragon women's basketball on the Blue Dragon Sports Network at BlueDragonSports.com. Thank you for joining us here in the Sports Arena for day 2 of the Blue Dragon Classic. I am Darren Dunn, joined by Coach Knack. It's Dan Naccarato. Blue Dragons will open up the second half of play with the basketball. Chance to build on this 10-point lead. Alford in there with Ogle. Mapasua Barton will start the second half on her birthday. And Betham in there as well. Betham came out for the high screen at that left elbow and got called for the illegal screen, just her first foul of the contest.
But it's certainly not the way you want to start the third quarter with a turnover and an offensive foul.
Turnover number 7 on the Blue Dragons. As NEO will go to work, Binge, a new face in there to start off this second half of play for the Lady Norse. Gets it to go, her first basket of the game. Korea Kirksey averages a little over 13 a game, just finally scored here in this third quarter of action.
Impressive drive to the basket. That's what NEO needs to do to whittle away at that lead.
Blue Dragons working the guards outside the arc. Now Ogle gets it in from 15, right elbow, no good. Rebound to NEO. Miles runs the point. Now she'll go on the inside, needs a little bit of help. Kicks it back out to Kirksey. Kirksey wants to drive against Mapasua. Now she'll decide to hand off to the big on the outside. And I believe we have a travel on Stebatakova. The big had the ball a little bit too far outside. 11 turnovers now on NEO, and John Hotches is not happy with the way his team has opened up this third quarter. It's an 8-point lead for the Blue Dragons. Just a little over a minute gone by in the third quarter. We're back in 30 seconds. Dragons up by 8. 8:58 left here in this third quarter of play. John Hotches takes a quick timeout to try to reset things. The Blue Dragons did not come out the way they wanted to start this second half. Get the early illegal screen from Betham, who's moving on the screen this time. It doesn't draw contact. Abby Ogle puts a pump fake on Binge and now hands off to Mapasua. Mapasua a little fade away from 15, and Mapasua now has 5. Dragons back up by 10, a minute and a half gone by in your second half of play. Between the leg dribble for Brooks. Gives it up to Miles. Miles guarded by Alford. Gets it over to the left corner from 15. No good from Stepatakova. Barton will bring the ball across the timeline. Barton looking inside for Ogle. Decides to work it around the horn, trying to get an opening. Betham goes to Ogle. Ogle, the touch pass back to Betham. Betham, the and one. Betham got free on the cut to the left block. Got held on the way up by Kirksey, her third. And Brooklyn Betham will go to the line, but not before we get a timeout. That's 6 points now for Brooklyn Betham. The Dragons up by 12. A chance to add to it with 2 minutes gone by in this third quarter. We're back at 30 seconds after this NEO timeout. Chance to add to it, and Coach Knack, one thing Abby Ogle will do at 5'8" is post up. It's not necessarily that she's going to give you a post move, but that she's going to be looking for another post or someone to cut and get an easy basket on the other side.
Well, technically, last night she played the 4 position most of the game. In the Blue Dragon offense, it's kind of hard to tell who's playing which position because they have so much movement, but she's a very versatile player.
Betham, the free throw, she gets it to go, and the Blue Dragons now with advantage of the game for Hutchinson.
You can tell both coaches feel like this first part of the third quarter is critical.
Abby Ogle the steal, took it away from Binge. 12 turnovers for NEO. Ball ahead to Alford. Alford too far under the basket. Kicks it across the lane to Lauren Mapasua for the wide open layup. Mapasua has 7. 15 points. After that John Onch's timeout, the Dragons playing much better here in this third quarter as Stebatakova is able to step back and knock it down from 15.
And Coach Rowland did not hesitate to take an early timeout in this third quarter also. Both coaches wanting their teams to establish themselves.
Pick and roll to Betham. Betham had to pick it up though. Kick it out now to Ogle for 3 from the left corner. No good. Just rimmed off on her. And it's taken him down by NEO. And now back-to-back baskets for NEO. Kirksey has 4 and the Dragon lead down to 11.
Kirksey doing a much better job of attacking the rim this third quarter.
Dragons had just stretched the lead to 15, largest of the game, and now NEO is back in it with a couple of baskets. Ogle the drive against Binge. Binge put 2 hands on her and pushed Ogle through the baseline. No call, and now the Dragons will throw it away. John Onch is showing his range. I'm not sure I've ever seen that. He grabbed the ball off the turnover because the pass was to him, and he shot it from the sideline, from his spot, and hit nothing but the bottom of the net.
Of course, John Onch is not only a standout player at Hutchinson Community College, but
He's like, this is what I want you to do. This is what it should look like.
Who made that shot, Darren?
Stebatakova now with 8. The lead down to 9 for the Blue Dragons. Alford on the cut. Betham tried to find her. It was knocked away by NEO.
Even the official had a whimsical smile on his face when he saw Coach Onch nail that shot from out of bounds.
He's almost like he wasn't sure what to do. Like, should I call him for some sort of a delay? What do I, or do I just admire what I've just witnessed?
That's a highlight reel right there.
Abby Ogle. Out on the way up. Binge gets called for her first personal, team second. And Abby Ogle will go to the line for the second time. And it was just a beautiful, beautiful arch on the shot. And I don't think we've seen a better three-pointer tonight than the one we saw from John Onch.
So many times you see a head coach, the ball will come to him on a situation like that, and he'll slam it on the floor or something like that. Onch has had a better approach.
10-point lead for the Blue Dragons. Ogle misses the second one. Drive inside. Lynn Brooks will have to set the offense back up. Ball inside to Stebatakova. She has it 15 feet away from the right side. She's knocked down a couple from the other side, but kicks it out instead to Brooks. Brooks the 3, no good. Battle for the rebound on the baseline. Last touch by Ogle and the Blue Dragons. Nafatumata Idra will come in for Hutchinson. Brooklyn Betham will get a breather.
You know, the really impressive thing about John Onch nailing that shot is when you're wearing a dress shirt and it's tucked in tightly, sometimes it messes. It's hard to raise your hands above your head.
NEO will throw it away on the inbound from the baseline out the sideline. Lady Norse. Just over 4 minutes gone by in your third quarter of action. The Blue Dragons lead it by 10. It's Dragons 39, Lady Norse 29, John Onch's 3. Barton takes a stutter step, drives from 15. She's got it. Her first basket of the game. Presley Barton, the birthday girl, has a basket. After a 1 trillion yesterday, gets herself on the stat sheet today. 17-footer Stebatakova. After making a couple, this one rattles out on her. And Alford brings down the ball. Looking inside for Idra. Idra going against Stebatakova, gets underneath her and was fouled on the way up. Stebatakova is beside herself. She can't believe it, but it's foul number 3. Idra 1 for on the season earlier in the first half. Takes her time at the line. Shot up and good. Nothing but the bottom of the net for Idra, who now has 2 points. All from the free throw line this evening. It's Darren Dunn, Dan Nacarado with you here in the Sports Arena. Second free throw for Idra is good. She's 3 for 4 from the line with 3 points. And the Dragons lead it by 14. 5:10 left in your third quarter. Miles drives in and threw it off the backside of Nafatumata Idra.
Attempting the wraparound pass.
That's a big body to wrap it around.
Her arms were not quite long enough to do that.
Idra at 6'5". Ball goes inside. Stebita working the paint against Idra, but will not receive the entry pass. Now she'll get it, but it's from 15, the right side, and that 15-foot range from the baseline. Stebitakova has been deadly. She now has 10. Doing it from both sides of the basket. Ball inside to Lauren Mapasua. Mapasua gets big and is able to hit it off the backboard and good. Mapasua has 9. 45-31, Blue Dragons on top. Shivata tried to bang on the inside of the paint, lost her footing, thought she was going to receive more contact from the defender, whiffs and goes to the ground, and NEO has to take a timeout. So with 4:32 left in your third quarter, Dragons lead it by 14. We're back in the Sports Arena in 30. Dragons up by 14. What have you liked so far from the Blue Dragons in this first half of the third quarter?
Well, I like the way they're playing defense because NEO came out with a plan to attack the basket harder this quarter, but the Blue Dragons defense has been pretty solid.
Brooks gets the entry pass, and NEO will work offensively against the man-to-man defense from the Blue Dragons. Dragons in gray, NEO in blue. Ogle working the paint against Binge. 6 to shoot. Brooks looking for some room, gets it to the free throw line, kicks it to Shivata. Ogle inside the paint, kicks it out to Alford for 3. Looking for her third, can't get it to go. So after starting the game 2 for 2, Alford is now 0 for 2 on her last couple of three-point opportunities. Under 4 now to go in the third. 45-31 Blue Dragons. Darren Dunn, Dan Nacarata with you on the Blue Dragon Sports Network. Stebitakova inside the Binge, and Abby Ogle had a hold of the backside of Binge. Will pick up her third.
Tried to come from behind her, and she jumped through her a little bit to deflect that pass. But here we are, 3 minutes, 48 seconds to go in the third quarter. NEO still has not made a trip to the free throw line this quarter.
Battle on the inside between Stebitakova and Idra. And Idra will be called for the foul, her third. 3 now on the Blue Dragons as the ball will go to the baseline for NEO. To do it all again, this time from the other side. Shot clock reset to 20. NEO working right to left from our vantage points. Opposite direction as you watch and listen on the Blue Dragon Sports Network. Stebitakova from the left elbow, rattled out. Dragons now on the inside, on the other end to Idra. The nice move, the spin, and couldn't get the left-hander to go. Pulled away by Miles. Tried to get ahead of the Blue Dragon defense, but 4 Dragons back quickly. Ball goes right side to Brooks. She drives against Barton, and Brooks able to get it to go. Her first basket of the second half. 5 points now for Kiara Brooks.
Brooks scored 16 points yesterday against Barton.
Lauren Mapasua goes to the ground on the baseline. Alford was looking for her, and it's thrown away. 9 turnovers now on Hutchinson. Just over 3 to go in the third. Dragons trying to cut into this and get it back to single digits. NEO had an early 3-point lead, went on about a 6-minute drought in that first quarter, which allowed the Blue Dragons to slowly pull away. Brooks, the left-hander from 15, no good. Pulled down by the Blue Dragons. Barton brings it across the timeline, picks it up to the left wing, goes up high to Idra. Idra looking inside for Ogle. It's quick inside and out, and Barton has the 3. Barton right over the top of Brooks. Barton has her first three-pointer of the game and her first three-pointer of the season. first three-pointer as a Blue Dragon. She has 5 on her birthday. It's answered quickly by Miles, who has her first basket. Another banked-in 3 for NEO. 12-point lead for the Blue Dragons. 2:15 left here in the third. Hydra from the right elbow. Move against Stebatakova. Had it knocked away. NEO pulls it down and is on the run the other direction. Right wing extended for Miles, who brings it back to Shivata. Shivata to Brooks. Brooks, the right-hand dribble, gets it to the deadly Stebatakova, and another one from 15. That is where she is money, and Stebatakova has 12.
8 points in this third quarter.
6'2" sophomore out of the Czech Republic. Left wing from Mapasua, up top to Ogle for 3. Abby Ogle, her third three-pointer of the night. A minute and a half left in the third. Dragons back up by 13. Inside goes NEO, and a travel called on Miles. 15 turnovers now for the Lady Norse. Brooklyn Betham checks back in for the Blue Dragons. Sasha Francis joins her out there with Kyra Paniora, Abby Ogle, and Presley Barton, who now has 5, had a three-pointer, her first as a Dragon moments ago. Turn done, Dan Nacarado with you. Sasha Francis gets the ball in front of the Blue Dragon bench. Decides not to go inside to Paniora. A foul away from the ball. Blue Dragons get called for another illegal screen. It's Brooklyn Betham. Same official, Cotter, out there on that left elbow setting the screen.
Too bad, because Presley Barton made the three-point shot attempt as the whistle was blowing.
10 turnovers now for the Blue Dragons, had 6 in the whole first half. Another shot up by Stebatakova. This one a little bit closer from about 12. And gets it to roll in. She's now feeling it with 14. I say now, she's been feeling it this entire third quarter. Left wing Ogle, and a quick touch pass inside to Francis, and Francis banks it in. Francis has 6. Averages 2.5. Binge working against Ogle on the inside. Baby hook no good. Drew nothing. Second, a difference between game clock and shot clock. Pump fake by Barton. Got Brooks into the air. Now the shot clock's dark. 16 seconds left for NEO to take the final shot of the third quarter. No matter what happens here, the Blue Dragons will take a double-digit lead into the fourth quarter. Brooks, shot up, partially blocked by Ogle. She'll pull down the rebound. Ahead to Barton. Barton at the buzzer. Didn't shoot it in time. She banked it in, but it was not quite off her fingertips as the buzzer ran. A little bit too late. Dragons will go into the fourth quarter with a 53-40 advantage. We're back in a minute on the Blue Dragon Sports Network. Welcome back into the Sports Arena on the Blue Dragon Sports Network. Thanks for joining us at BlueDragonSports.com and, of course, the Blue Dragon Sports Network channel there on YouTube. Darren Dunn, Dan Nacarado here with you from the Sports Arena, day 2 of the Blue Dragon Classic. The Blue Dragons ahead by 13 on top of NEO. Dan, what do the latest numbers look like?
Well, the big number is Hutchinson extended that lead to 53-40. And now for the game, NEO 17 of 48 from the field, still struggling from three-point range, just 3 of 14, and did not go to the free throw line a single time in that third quarter. Hutchinson 10 of 17 from the free, 18 of 43 from the field.
The NEO working the ball offensively to open up this fourth quarter of action. Drive inside and step back here for Kirksey. She'll go to Murillo, and how about that? By my count, that's 3 travels on Murillo. That is now 16 turnovers on NEO. Francis, Betham, Cooper, Poniora. Some of the key starters getting much needed rest. We'll see if they'll be needed or if the reserves can keep this lead. Cooper, a nice 7. Kirksey. Kirksey has 6. On the other end, Cooper scored her first basket of the game. Cooper had 8 points yesterday. She was 4 for 7 from the floor. Had 3 rebounds, but got herself into a little bit of foul trouble with 4 fouls. Sasha Francis gets herself to the free throw line, and she knocks it down. Francis now has 8. Had just 1 point. Getting her money's worth this afternoon. Unforced error. It's another one on Murillo. This time, instead of walking with it, throws it away. Advantage back to 15 for the Blue Dragons. Fourth. Poniora calls out the offense, runs the point. Hands off to Francis, right wing. Man-to-man defense put on by NEO. Brooklyn Betham setting the screens up along the free throw line. This time Cooper got where she wanted to be, but had the ball partially blocked. So it drew nothing, goes out of bounds on NEO. Officials started to give that one back to the Lady Norse. We got together and decided it was tipped. Poniora, right side inbound. Has Alford. Alford started to drive, had it knocked away. Dragons will inbound there. As far right as you can get on the baseline before being on the sideline. NEO in the blue. Blue Dragons in the gray. 17-footer for right over the top and in. Her first basket of the second half in a couple. Now has 8. NEO turns it over again. This time it was the point guard Miles. Alford, can she score again? The left-hand layup, no good. Had to go up against a couple of Lady Norse and left it a little bit too strong. Kirksey on the other side, right wing against Poniora, forces one up and got the body contact from Kyra Poniora. Her third personal, team's first of this fourth quarter.
Pace quickened here in the first 2 minutes of this fourth quarter.
They're really going with 2 minutes gone by. Dragons now with their largest lead at 17. It's at the free throw line, where she has only missed twice this season. With a 93% free throw shooter. Laying a little bit wet after that collision underneath the basket. Officials trying to clean that up with their sneakers. And they'll finally get a towel to help out the situation. Dragons play. Dragons 2-0 on the year, taking on the Golden Norse at 1-4. Don't let that fool you, though. Lost to Barton yesterday just by 8. Lost to Coffeyville by 1 at the buzzer last week.
NEO is without one of their better players who has an illness this weekend, Kayla Shepard, out of Florida.
Yeah, she averages 10.7 points a game, so you think about adding those 10 extra points, and this is a much different ball game as Kirksey gets the first free throw to go. Second free throw for Kirksey, also good. She has 8. Still 5 points shy of her season average. So it's a 15-point lead for the Blue Dragons, just over 2 minutes gone in the final quarter of action. Francis, left-hand dribble, goes against Miles, puts it into her right hand to bank it. Too strong, just rattled off on her. And it was rebounded by Betham offensively. Betham fouled on the putback by Murillo, her fourth. Stebatakova comes in for NEO. She's really been working that baseline offensively on both sides. She's shown us she's really good from that 12 to 15 foot range.
That was the 12th rebound collected by Brooklyn Betham in this game. That's a huge number. She has 12 out of the Blue Dragon 29 rebounds. So Betham working the boards very effectively.
Officials changing the foul call as Betham gets the first free throw to go. She now has 8, so instead of Murillo, who picks up her fourth, it is Diop who picks up her fourth.
Someone was going to get their fourth either way.
Second free throw for Betham, no good. So this time, instead of missing the first, making the second, she makes the first and misses the second.
She's keeping us guessing.
It's a 16-point lead for the Blue Dragons. 2.5 minutes gone in your fourth quarter of play. As NEO works it around the horn, Paniora trying to guard as best she can Kirksey. Kirksey got free under the basket, couldn't get the bunny to go, and Paniora brings it across the half-court line. Cooper, left wing, Alford. Alford, no dribble, decides to just pass it around for the Blue Dragons. Cooper working the baseline. Betham working the high post. Betham sets the screen for Francis, but Miles was able to fight through the traffic and stay with her. Alford gets it to the right wing, and with pressure coming from that left side from Shivata, she's able to knock it down, and Alford has 10. Nice cut by Shivata. Got herself too far under the basket, though. She kicks it to the corner to Kirksey for 3, air ball. Battle for the rebound then on the far left corner. Last touch by the Blue Dragons, and Abby Ogle will come back for Hutchinson.
The Lady Norse have just been stone cold from three-point range, just 3 of 15 in this basketball game.
18-point lead for the Blue Dragons. Just over 6.5 to play here in the Sports Arena. Here on the Blue Dragon Sports Network. Nice use of the 2 steps for Kirksey. And Kirksey has 10. All of her points have come here in this second half.
And pretty much all of them on drives to the basket.
Korea Kirksey, the 5'7" freshman out of Midwest City, Oklahoma. Right-hand drive for Alford. Alford wants to score again. Left it short off the backboard. Picked up by Shivata. Shivata ahead to Kirksey. Kirksey, little dipsy-do against Paniora, but Paniora stayed grounded. Stebatakova kicks it back out to Kirksey. Still guarded there by Paniora. Now Miles wants to drive with 13 to shoot. Gives it off to Shivata. Shivata, the pump fake on the pass. Went up with it, no good. The Euro step. A shot up and no good, but she was fouled on the way there. Goes against Miles, her second. And the second here on the Lady Norse in the fourth quarter.
Ogle has 15 points and 5 assists in this basketball game.
Ogle first free throw, no good.
She also has 5 rebounds. So 15 points, 5 and 5 for Abby Ogle.
Right at her averages for all those categories. Just a little bit shy, though, of that scoring category as she inches closer with the second free throw going down. 63-46, Blue Dragons on top, 5:44 left here in the Sports Arena. Stebatakova guarded by Brooklyn Betham. Turns around and is content to just shoot it over the top of Betham. And with a hand in the face, proves to be less effective than she was open on the baselines as the Dragons throw it away.
Dragons with 11 turnovers compared to 18 for NEO, so that's 7 extra possessions for the Dragons, who are shooting a more effective clip than the Lady Norse.
Dragons have led by as many as 18, have that lead at 17 at the moment. Left wing goes Kirksey. She crosses over Alford. Alford, even though she lost a step, was able to regain it and get the block from the backside and pull down the rebound. Outlet to Paniora. Paniora palmed it. If it's more than a handshake, it's not a deal. and it's a carry and a turnover on Paniora. That's what they teach you in those officiating camps. Hey, if it's more than a handshake, it's too much.
Good to know. You're teaching me all kinds of the trillion and the handshake. It's not a deal.
Especially if you get by the defender. Now, you're welcome to carry the ball all the way up the court, but if you gain an advantage, that's when the whistle is blown. Just under 5 to play. Baby hook game shown by Stebatikova. Can't get it to go. Left it too far to the right. And Alford brings it up for the Blue Dragons. She gets in front of us, and the Blue Dragons take a timeout. It's a full timeout here in the Sports Arena. Dragons lead at 63-46. 4:45 to play. We're back in a minute. .45 left to play here in the Sports Arena. It's day 2 of the Blue Dragon Classic. The Blue Dragon women on top of NEO 60. Betham, Alford, Paniora in there for Hutchinson. Blue uniforms and yellow numerals for the Lady Norse. Alford guarded by Brooks. Gets a screen from Betham on the roll. Doesn't use Betham, instead tried to take it up herself and draws the foul on NEO. It goes against Stebatikova, her 4th.
Alford had an opening to the basket on that first step, and she took advantage of it. If she had not been fouled, she would have surely scored the basket.
Breakout game for the freshman from Derby as she knocks down the free throw and now has 11. Started with hot shooting for her from the outside. She knocked down her first 2 3-pointers of the evening. Second free throw is also good. That's 12 for Alford. Lauren Mapasua will come in now for Hutchinson. Sasha Francis will check out.
It's a big adjustment to go from high school basketball to the college game, and Alford made a huge stride today in this basketball game.
Dragons up by 19, a chance to add to it as NEO turns it over for the 19th time. Guess who? It's Alford the other way for the left-handed lay-in. She has 14, and the Dragons are now up 21. Crossover dribble for Kirksey. Goes left wing. Miles, the shot, left it short. Battle for the board, picked up by Betham. Outlet pass to Ogle. Ogle, the 1-on-2. She thinks better of it and will work a little bit of clock. Alford says, no, I'll take it. The three-pointer just to the right. That's her 3rd three-pointer of the contest. And NEO wants a timeout. 70-46. Blue Dragons lead it here in the Sports Arena. 3:49 to play. We're back on the Blue Dragon Sports Network after this. Just under 4 to play here in the Sports Arena. Blue Dragons have now opened up their largest lead of the game at 24.
Tori Alford, 11 points in this fourth quarter.
The NEO to inbound. For the Blue Dragons, it's Paniora, Ogle, Alford, Betham, and Mapasua. NEO will work that far right corner and bring the ball back around the horn. Into the hands of Murillo, who's had plenty of turnovers. Thrown the ball away a couple of times and traveled with it at least 3 times. She gets it on the inside. Does the Hakeem Olajuwon dream move and couldn't get it to go. Pulled down by Abby Ogle. Alford had the ball to the left wing for a 3 opportunity if she wanted it. This time she'll work offense. Ball comes back in front of the Blue Dragon bench to Ogle. Ogle gets the screen from Betham. Betham rolls, but was guarded closely by McAdams. Shot up from Alford, no good. Battle for the rebound, pulled down by NEO, and it's Murillo who dribbles it on the baseline. Turnover 20 for the Lady Norse.
In this fourth quarter, isn't she, Darren?
She is having a breakout game, is the freshman from Derby, Kansas at 5'8". Ball inbounded to Ogle, had to force it through an NEO player, couldn't quite get it to go. Gets the rebound, kicks it out to Paniora, and Paniora left the 3 short. So with under 3 to go, Dragons a 24-point lead. The NEO has it from the corner. The shot up no good from McAdams. Mapasua, 1-on-3. She has to back it out right. She kicks it right side to Alford, and the Blue Dragons will set up offense. Left wing, Mapasua, guarded by Miles. Pump fake up top to Ogle. Ogle off to Alford, now to Mapasua, who drives. Too strong off the backboard, but Betham on the backside got the rebound. Goes up against Stebatakova. The foul goes against Miles, her 3rd. The 4th on NEO.
Yet another rebound by Brooklyn Betham. Brooklyn had a little bit of trouble. Had to collect her passport and got here a little bit later than planned, but she's hitting her stride today.
8 points on the evening.
She didn't come all the way from Australia today, by the way. That was a few weeks ago.
Second free throw, also no good. So for the second time, she makes a trip to the line, comes away with nothing. The other time, she's at least been 1 of 2. Did make her only free throw attempt on an and-one opportunity earlier this half. 13-footer, the step back from Stebatakova, no good. She has a little bit more trouble hitting those with a hand in her face. So Betham gets the ball at the free throw line, kicks it out to Ogle. Ogle starts. 2 minutes to play. Dragons lead it 70-46. Darren Dunn, Dan Nacarado with you in the Sports Arena. Alford sees an opening, takes it, and is fouled on the way to the hoop by McAdams. McAdams picks up her 1st. That's the 5th on NEO, and Alford will head to the line where she's already 2 of 2. Fatumata Idra, Jalecia Cooper come in. Presley Barton will check in momentarily. And that should be the afternoon or the evening for Abby Ogle and Brooklyn Betham, who take a seat. Ogle finishes the evening with 16 points. Brooklyn Betham heads to the bench with 8. Alford knocks it down at the free throw line. What a night for her, career high 18. And she has a chance to add to it. She does, and those points really started mounting in this 4th quarter of play, and that'll end the night for Alford, who goes to the bench 4 for 4 from the line and a career high 19 points, knocked down 3 triples.
Good game for Tori Alford.
72-46. Blue Dragons on top of the Lady Norse. McAdams got herself inside the paint where she was grabbed by Barton. Barton, the birthday girl, her 1st foul. She's had herself a night. She knocked down a 3 and has 5 points. Had a 3 at the buzzer, but banked it in a little bit too later, else she'd have some more points. Knocked down a 3 after an offensive team control foul as well. So a couple of triples taken away from her. In, and the 5'3" Barton is fouled on the way up. It's an and-one opportunity for Presley. Nick Adams picks up her second. Presley Barton now with 7 has a chance to make it 8.
One of the many but the bench erupted in jubilation when Barton converted that basket.
74-46. Dragons lead it with 1:24 left. Crossover dribble for Murillo. Takes the pump fake after picking up the dribble against Jalecia Cooper. Got herself some room, but too strong off the backboard. Paniora driving and traveling. Got herself caught up with Kirksey, and it's the 13th turnover for Hutchinson. Dragons on top by 28, just over a minute to go. Miles, crossover dribble against Paniora, splits the defenders on the pass to Stebatakova. Stebatakova has gone cold. Foul on the rebound. Works against Jalecia Cooper, her third.
Stebatakova seemed to be more comfortable on the baseline taking those 12 to 15-foot shots than she is out around the free throw line area.
The NEO, the inbound from the left side baseline. Goes up high to Murillo. Murillo has to be careful, already a couple of travels. He's thrown the ball away a couple of times too. Hydra plays defensively against Stebatakova, who throws it away. Presley Barton brings it up the court. And with 42 seconds left, the Blue Dragons look to score again. Left block now up to the free throw line to Hydra. Had it stripped on the way to the hoop. 14 turnovers for the Blue Dragons. 30 seconds to play. Right block inside Murillo. She turns over the left shoulder against Cooper and got Cooper to foul her on the way up. That's 4 on Jalecia. Murillo 0 for 1 from the line after an and-one opportunity. Well, head to the charity stripe again. 74-46 your score. 25.6 left here in the Sports Arena. Dragons on top. For what it's worth, Barton beat NEO yesterday, but that was by a closer score of 75-67. Is it too early to be looking at scores?
No.
So you would say safely at this point in the season, Hutchinson is a better team than Barton?
I would never make that bold of a statement, but it is fair to look at the scores.
Second free throw, short and off to the right, rebounded by Cooper. The shot clock is dark. 23 seconds left. The Blue Dragons don't need to put the shot up, but Mapasua was driving as if she wanted to and had the ball knocked out by NEO as John Hutchins gets up and tells Mapasua and instructs his team we're up by 28.
See, he's looking at scores too.
We don't need to. We didn't need to force the issue. So Barton will pull it out with 16 seconds. Blue Dragons should be content to dribble this one out and win it here in the Sports Arena 74-46 and improve to 3-0 on the season. The crowd that is here applauds the Blue Dragon effort, and that is your final. Blue Dragons win it 74-46 here in the Sports Arena over NEO. We're back to crunch some of those numbers on the Blue Dragons.